Another year's gone by, so it's time for another game room tour. 2025. There's been a few changes this year. I always think every year, well, there's nothing else I can do. I've got it how I want it, and then, like we all do, we're constantly playing room Tetris, and you end up making quite a few changes. So I like to do these game room tours just for something for myself to look back on and see how I change the room over time. So anyway, we'll just have a quick spin round and then we'll go around in a bit more detail. So, this is the game wall, starting at the top with the severely trimmed down Master System collection. I did have quite a few. I've probably had it 3 or 4 times what I've got now, but I've thinned it out to totally what I had when I was a kid, plus a couple of extras that I didn't but are excellent games like Streets of Rage and Master of Darkness. Everything else I decided I didn't need to own. Then we come down, we've got the Mega Drive section, predominantly Japanese. I did get rid of all my PAL games and then regretted it, so I've bought a few back, but it's a very small section, the PAL section. And then we've also got a Genesis section, and you can just about see the 32X section there as well. But yeah, I'm quite happy. There's 1 or 2 Mega Drive I'd like to add, but you know, if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. I'm not losing any sleep over it. And then the next row is kind of a new addition this year, because it's kind of the 8-bit cartridge section, which I didn't see myself getting into, but I've absolutely loved it, and I'm loving these kind of games now, these simple early arcade style games. So we've got Intellivision starting off, and then that blends into Atari, and we've got a few in Magic, we've got a few sort of more obscure ones, then we've got the Magic, then we've got the Parker Brothers, then we've got the little Atari Rainbow, and then finally we've got the Atari Jaguar. And then coming down from there, we've got US Super Nintendo, and then we've got the Super Famicom collection, which I'm quite happy with now, to be honest. Again, there's a few more like the Mega Drive I'd like to add. If they happen, great. Then we've got the N64 collection, which again is now complete. I'm not looking for any more of them. And then coming further down, we've got the Dreamcast and Saturn and Neo Geo CD and PC Engine CD collection. And then we've got Japanese Dreamcast there. And again, I'm happy with all these collections. I'll just add the odd one here and there that crops up that I like the look of. And that's the gaming wall. A few controllers just there, obviously, from mainly modern consoles. And then coming around, this is kind of the modern setup, if you like. We've got PS3 and 360 there, and then we've got, like I say, more modern consoles, Xbox One and PS4, coin-ops Xbox, Wii U, and then we've got the DVD player. So that runs on that big TV. And then we've got the Tarte setup here. As you can see, we've got the magnificent Raiden Fighters Aces. But on this screen I've basically got a RGH 360, a Japanese Saturn, and a Japanese PS2, which obviously can play all the PS1 and 2 games that you can in Tate mode. Cracking sort of area this. I really enjoy this. And then we've got my loose American Super Nintendo games stacked up down there in universal game cases. And then we've got the CRT setup, which is a Sony, which has always been my preference. And on there we've got an original Xbox and Japanese PS2. And then above the TV here we've got the Japanese Xbox 360, predominantly shooter collection, and the Xbox original PAL games that I'm bothered about, predominantly arcade stuff. I did go mad collecting all these 360 shooters, and I haven't really played any of them yet. So this next year my plan is to be sort of playing all these properly, because I think I'll be thinning a few of those out, because I'm pretty sure bullet hell's not for me, so I think I will probably move some of those on. One thing I won't be moving on for certain is Raiden Fighters Aces, because it's so good. We've got a little Retron HD there that can play American NES cards. And then we've got a Toad and a Yoshi. Then we've got a light up controller LED, which I forgot to put on. And then this is kind of, I don't know if I use this view so much now on the videos. This used to be the view I used all the time, with the consoles behind. I don't know, just kind of got out of the habit. But I rewatched my own video a few weeks ago, and this is pretty much every part of it's changed. You know, I've moved all the consoles around. So we've kind of got, on the top we've got the Neo Geo section, the mighty AES and the CDZ, and then we've got the Genesis and the Japanese Dreamcast, Super Famicom, an RGB modded N64. Most of it's fugly, David, and then we've got Japanese Saturn again, which is, all these are connected to the CRT, and then we've got a PC Engine Duo, and then we've got the sort of arcade tab minis at the top, the Egret and the Astro City, Yoko and Tate. Then we've got the 3DO, great looking console. And we've also got the Neo Geo Mini and a couple of Game Boys that I've modded up quite recently with varying degrees of success. Then we've got a PAL PS2, which plays PS1 and 2 games, and then we've got the Japanese GameCube, which is switched to play Japanese and American. Then we've got the Atari section, we've got 2600 plus and an American Jaguar, so full screen, 60 Hz, full speed, the only way to play. And then we've got another retro duo, like another Retron type console, plays any PAL or NTSC, SNES and NES game. And then we've got an American PS3, which will obviously play, and it's a backwards compatible one, so it'll play American PS1, 2 and 3 games. Then, this is quite recent, I've built this section into this TV for my Neo Geo Pandora's Box arcade stick, and I'm really loving this actually. Obviously there's thousands of games on this thing, and I just kind of use this as an area where I try stuff basically. But it's really comfortable. It's the perfect height. I can sit down. It's like a sit-down arcade machine. Like I say, thousands of games on it. Really, really good. We've got an arcade one-up, Turtles, bar top. Kind of bought that for decoration really. At some point I'm going to swap that for a Evercade Alpha, because I'm going to get much more use out of that. But it's a nice little thing. And this is the Great Ragtime Show. This is such a mad game. Alex Nintendo Arcade, no sorry, Al's Arcade talked about this recently. Fantastic game. And then underneath we've got the mighty Neo Geo AES collection. Really chuffed with that. To have them on display, especially with a couple of front facing, my two favourite games on the Neo Geo. And then we've got another CRT, this time a widescreen portable, quite a rare thing to come across. Took me years to find one, and I basically just use this for my VHS to put on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. And then I've got the Vectrex collection underneath. So that's that kind of area. All consoles really. And then we've got the computer, and then we've got, this is what I call the 8-bit area really. So again we've got two CRTs and a flat screen. Another one of these Panasonic TVs, I love them. So I've got about half a dozen of them. Every screen I've got, I've tried to wait and bide my time, and then I'll buy another one of these to fit in when I can find one. And I think I've got every one I've got now I think is one of these. Fantastic TVs with great speakers, lots of sockets. But yeah, we've also got two small CRTs, which again is for the 8-bit area, and we've also got an American PS1 and the Evercade VS obviously, and then we've got the Famicom and the Master System, which again is modded with the Switch and 60Hz. And then we've got the mighty Vectrex, and then underneath obviously we've got all the consoles that these TVs use. And we've also got the PS1 collection, mainly Japanese, but also a handful of PAL and a stack of American. And we've got the Genesis 2, the Sega CD and 32X, which I've had from brand new. And then we've got the most recent edition, which is the mighty ColecoVision. Just love how this console looks, and it's a stunning console. Then we've got the 2600 Junior obviously, and we've then got the Uber Retro Intellivision, which has got some fantastic games on it. And then we've also got the Philips Video Pack or Magnavox Odyssey, and then we've just got some game storage underneath. We've got my original Get Bass fishing hide in the bin, and then the 2600 card collection. Oh, and we've also got, hiding at the end there, we've got the PC Engine. So, as I say, I call this the 8-bit area because it's Famicom, Master System, PC Engine, plus all the older stuff, the Atari, the ColecoVision, Intellivision Video Pack, and also we've got the Mega Drive 32X and Mega CD as well. Plus we've got a Raspberry Pi, so we can basically put anything on this TV. And again, really comfortable to sit at. And then above there we've got the Switch collection and the Egret collection. But yeah, the Switch collection's been growing steadily this year, and we're going to need to thin it out because I'm out of space. So any future arrivals, it's going to have to be at the expense of something, I think, unless I can find some extra storage for Switch games, because there are still quite a few I'd like. So we'll have to see how that progresses. But at the minute, that's the extent of the Switch collection. And then coming around the corner, we've got the PS2 collection. These are all Japanese, and they run all along this sort of wall. These have had to be at the expense of the Raiden Shrine I had last year, unfortunately. I needed the space, so the Raiden Shrine had to go, unfortunately. And then in front of this, we've got another shelf with all the 80s LCD handheld games. I love this kind of display, it's really like evocative of the time. So obviously you can see we've got Star Force, Firefox, Scramble, then we've got Astro Wars, Munchman, Caveman, and then we've also got Galaxy Invader 1000 and 3000, is it? Or 10,000? 10,000. And a Puck Monster, which unfortunately doesn't work and is not repairable. We've then got the Evercade collection. Some mighty fine games on the Evercade. I understand if it's not for you, but there is some brilliant stuff on it. And I should have said, actually, that's what we've got running there. The magnificent Tatsujin. Oh, what a game. Then underneath the Evercade we've got the PAL PS2 collection, and that's the entirety of it. And then we've got a few American on the end there. But I do like that kind of little display. And then this section here is quite new. Well, I say it's quite new, it's a few months old now, but basically there's kind of been overspill here from the arcade, and I've ended up putting two cabs in here. But I'm really liking them. Had to get rid of a couple of shelves to fit them in, but not too much of a problem, because you know, I've been thinning out for a couple of years now, and I'm really finding myself at the point now where I'm happy with the collection. So it's just fine-tuning and picking up the odd thing from now on. So yeah, obviously, as you can see, we've got the Marvel vs Capcom 2, excuse the glare, there we go, Marvel vs Capcom 2, and we've got Miss Pac-Man, which is the 40th anniversary. But the Miss Pac-Man cab is not such a nice cab as the Marvel Capcom one, but it, you know, it's got a good monitor in it, and there's still mighty fine games on it. It's just the marquee on the Miss Pac-Man is garbage, but the Marvel Capcom one is really nice, and it's got some beautiful artwork on the side, I've got to say. Not that you can see it here, but it's there. Obviously it's got a lot of fighters on the Marvel Capcom one, and then the Miss Pac-Man one is obviously Namco games, and every game on that cab is fantastic. Absolutely love every game. This one is probably my favourite, Rompers, which, if you haven't played it, I've said this before, play Rompers, it's amazing. From 1989, brilliant game. Then we've just got a stack of drawers which house the Famicom collection. That's grown a lot over the last 12 months. Again, there's still a few I'm after, and as you can see, the PS2 collection runs all behind the cabs, but I can get at them if I want to. They're in an order, so, you know, they're all I don't put them alphabetical, I go sort of in themes. I've got racers into shooters, and then fighters and arcade stuff, sports, and you know, all that kind of stuff, so I know roughly where everything is. And on top of there we've got my Y controllers and a little Mappy My Arcade, and we've then got the very slimmed down 3DO collection alongside there. That brings us to the Nintendo shelf, which is GameCube, Wii and Wii U. We've also got GameCube games behind there, obviously Japanese. I've run out of space where I've got my Tomitronic, so it's living there for the time being. But yeah, I'm completely happy with my GameCube collection. That's finished, as is my Wii collection. Obviously I had a full Wii U set, but that went quite some time ago, and we're now down to those games. And to be honest, there are probably 2 or 3 in there I could still get rid of, but that's the entirety of the Wii U collection now. That then leads us into the Outrun Shrine, which obviously was here last year, and that couldn't go anywhere. It's still here and always will be. Greatest game ever made. We've still got the 8 CD boxed set of soundtracks, sealed. Can't bring myself to open it. There's the remnants of the Raiden Shrine there with the soundtracks. But then, as I say, we've got the Outrun Shrine, trying to get the glare off it. I've got the PS2 Sega 2500 release, Jack Mega Drive, a mock-up of the Switch box, even though there isn't one. We've got the Atari disc, Kicks version, Mark III version, again a mock-up of the 3DS box, because there isn't one. We've then got a soundtrack, a PC Engine version, Game Gear, MSX Herb cassette. Then we've got the Tiger handheld, Commodore Kicks release, Saturn, the best release of all. A little keyring, another soundtrack. Then we've got the Amstrad full price cassette version. We've then got the Amiga Kicks release, and we've got the Amiga Big Box, and we've got Amstrad disc, Master System, a mock-up of the PC box, and then Outrun 3D for the Master System. And that's the Outrun Shrine. Which brings us back to the beginning. So, part 2 of the tour. We're back in the arcade. Been one or two changes in here, so I thought I'd put it all together in one video. Starting off with the outrun to link the two rooms together. We've got the original Outrun 2 SP arcade topper and the original style stand-up Outrun cab, which I made a light box out of. Then coming across, we're down to the cab what I built, to quote Ernie Wise. And then on top of the cab, this has gone through a few variations. I've kind of settled on this for now. We've just basically got TV remotes. We've got the Spectrum, which is now redundant since the modern Spectrum has been released. And then we've got my original 80s Hitachi Ghetto Blaster and the small tape collection. Still got the same artwork on the wall. It might have moved around a bit. Finally got the Outrun marquee off fob, which has been added. And then we've got that Telstar arcade, which was a recent donation from retrogames, so it's found its way and a home in my little retro arcade on top of my Laserdisc, DVD and VHS player. I think it kind of looks cool up there. It looks like the pinnacle of a mountain. And then the VHS wall has changed quite a lot. If you've watched the previous tour from, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, I totally stripped it out and started again, and I'm happy with it now. It was much more sparse before and had artwork interspersed with it, but I'd much rather have sort of games or whatever instead of artwork myself, but each to their own. But as you can see, it's pretty much a full wall now. We've got a substantial VHS collection, which I'm happy with. Again, there's one or two I will add, but I'm happy with what I've got. And this TV here I use primarily for watching said Laserdisc, DVD, VHS or YouTube, you know, in the background. And then it kind of blends into a gaming area on the right hand side, where we've got my sort of rhythm style Bomani games. We've got Rocking Mega Stage on the top, Stepping Selection, Para Paradise, the almighty Raiden, which is not a rhythm game obviously. We've got a Taiko no Tatsujin game, and then that leads into the Xbox One Racer collection, which is for the driver cab which I built. That comes down to the Dreamcast sort of repro collection, which we'll come back to later. And then we've got my original Samba de Amigo and a PS3 section, and then we've got some more VHS. We've then got a bit of a tribute to the greatest TV show ever made. If you know, you know. If you don't, pity for you. Then we've got kind of the arcade stick porn area. We've got varying ones here, as you can see. We've got a PS1 horror. Then we've got that's just a modern generic one to work, you know, a USB arcade stick, works with multiple things. Then we've got the Dreamcast one and the fantastic Saturn Virtua stick. Then we've got varying sticks for my minis, and then we've got these two bad boys. This is the PS4 Hayabusa wrap for, and then the Switch version, which is basically the same. That then allows us to come down, and we've got more DVDs, sorry, VHS, not DVDs. And then we turn the corner, we've just got more artwork, and this is obviously a combined gym and arcade. So we've got the bike for Zwift there. Now this section has totally changed from how it used to be when I first sort of set the room up. Obviously when I first set the room up, this side of the room was going to be the wife's, but obviously I've taken it all over. But if you've watched the previous sort of tour and the project of building this room, you might remember that I made a stand-up outrun 2 cab here, which was working great, no problem with it. But I'd started setting up another gaming area, and to house this driving rig setup to play on a PS3, and it wasn't working where I'd set it up. So I decided to compromise and dispense with the outrun cab so as I could set it up here, and it works a lot better. So I'm really chuffed with how now this area is working for me. I've also changed all this. I also built a tabletop sort of Raiden themed Tarte cab, if you remember, so that's also gone. So as I could totally change all this wall, and I've ended up putting all my micro minis here and all my Spectrum games. Now I did have the original Spectrum there until this new Spectrum was released, which I got for Christmas. So now, like I say, that original Spectrum is now probably redundant, because this is so easy. We've got it running possibly the greatest game on the Spectrum, Renegade. Magnificent, better than the arcade. But yeah, like I say, when I'd got the original Spectrum set up there, I'd put my Spectrum collection here with it, obviously. But now what I'm going to do is, obviously the games are here. I mean, I can put the old one back in should I want to and load them up normally, but I'll just look on my shelf, see what I fancy playing, and then just play it on there. It's a game changer, really. It's so easy. So nevertheless, it's great to have my Spectrum collection sort of on view to look at and enjoy whenever I want, which I've never really had before. It was, most of the time it's been in boxes, really. So it's great to finally have a nice area where I can enjoy it. This modern Spectrum has just made it so much easier. As you can see, we've got the 400 Mini. There's some great games on that. I'm really loving that era of stuff since building this room, really. And these older computers, I've got to blame Lee Tetley for getting me into these, because he always shows some amazing stuff. I really hope they do a TI-99 Mini or a BBC Mini next. Anyway, we've got the 400 Mini, and these, and we've got the C64 Mini and the Amiga Mini, and these have all got USB sticks in with like a full library on thousands of games, literally. You just can't ask for the wrong thing, and it's just fantastic. And having them all in this one little area, it's great for sort of trying stuff out and comparing, and it's fantastic. Then obviously we've got a regular sort of big TV here, and then connected to that we've got a Japanese Saturn, which has got the what's it called, the Fenrir in it. So again, full library of stuff, so I can play anything on there. Then we've got my PAL Dreamcast, which I've obviously put a different case on, and this is kind of an arcade area, so really, you know, I'm only using the Saturn and the Dreamcast for arcade style games, so primarily it's racers or shooters I'm playing, hence the arcade stick. And I've also got the Dreamcast wheel, which I can secure to the worktop here and play a Dreamcast racer with the wheel, and it's surprisingly good actually. I never gave it any time back in the day, but it does work really well, I've got to say. So, you know, games which I previously didn't care for too much, like Daytona, it really works fantastically well with the Dreamcast wheel. So again, that's really brought new life to my PAL Dreamcast. And all those moody discs I've had, you know, I've burnt up, just so as I can play all the arcade style games on this system. Then next to it, we've got a PS2 and a PS4. PS2 is Japanese, so I can obviously play any Japanese PS1 or 2 game, which is what the Raiden is for, which is primarily all I use it for. So that gets my Raiden fix. And then I've got a PS4 here, which I basically use for all the arcade archive stuff, with the arcade sticks you've previously seen. And then we've got Viper Phase 1, which was only launched or released a couple of weeks before Christmas, and this is a fantastic shooter. If you like Raiden, you need to check out Viper Phase 1. And like I say, it's on the arcade archives on PS4. I presume it's on the Switch as well, but like £6, whatever it is, never released on any console. Go check it out if you like Raiden. It's by the same some of the same people who made Raiden made this, and you can really tell. Right, that then brings us to this new area where the Outrun cab used to be. Your artwork's moved, Craig, and I really like how it looks there. Kind of really highlights the artwork more than where I got it before. And this is just blocking in the electric meter. Then we've got here, this is where I've got the Outrun cab, like I said, which I've moved to set up this PS3 driving rig, because I couldn't get Daytona or like Sega Rally running on my sit down cab, so I needed to get them here, which is why I've built this. And I've also built another shelf underneath, which is for 360 and some Wii games, because up here obviously we've got a Wii which I use for light gun games. We've got 360 and we've got the PS3. Nice little Darth Vader. But yeah, this is the entirety of my 360 collection. I'm completely done with that. It's generally not a generation for me, but these ones I've collected here, I do consider fantastic games. If you like old school 2D style games, there are some, and some great ones on this generation. So again, it's brought new life to my 360 and PS3 really, because I'm using them now in a more arcade form. And this driving wheel works fantastic on the PS3. So I've got the Xbox One, I can swap them out on this rig when I so desire. And we've got GTI Club running, which, if you've not played it, such a good game. I don't know why they never put it out physical, because you can't download it anymore. Great game. It's only physical on the Wii, and I mean, it's not the same, is it? So yeah, that's a combined 360 and PS3 driving area mainly, but like I say, I can move these wheels and I can use the rig as like a worktop for an arcade stick as well, so it doubles up as a more traditional arcade cab then, so you can play all the PS3 and 360 fighters with an arcade stick. And these two TVs, the picture's interchangeable, so basically any console I've got here I can run on either TV, which really adds to the versatility. You know, I can more or less do anything here. And I've also got one of these cheap multi-game box USB type things, really cheap, AliExpress, I don't know, £40, something like that, and it's basically got all the old stuff on it. It all works fantastically well. So in this area I can basically run anything from sort of 8-bit micros right up to PS4 and Switch. Obviously I've got the Switch dock as well, and I can play them in either area, sitting down or standing up. It just works fantastically well, so much better than how I'd got this area set up before. And then obviously we've got the same artwork over there, but I really think that artwork of yours pops there, Craig. Looks so good. So that is an awesome gift. Cheers, kiddo. So moving on, we've got the same artwork as I said on this wall here, and then we've come round to the cabs, and we've put, obviously as I said, I've got my Saturn steering wheel. There's a Dreamcast one behind there as well, and we've also got recent pickup there, Chicago tambourine, and then we've got the bank of cabs, which have slightly changed from the last video. Still got Darcy's Gallagher cab. We've now got the Star Wars one, which is an awesome cab, and we've still got obviously Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter and Centipede, and then obviously my driver cab in the Outrun theme that I built myself, leading back to where we started. I've switched off my marquee lights to put the cabs on, but yeah, Centipede, I'm not going to dwell on any of these. Obviously a lot of people don't like arcade one-ups. Fair enough. For my purpose they were great, and I've still got them on my own additional riser, so they're perfect height for me. Really love all these cabs. They've all got some fantastic games on. Tempest being my favourite on the Centipede cab, and obviously we've got some cracking Capcom games on the Street Fighter cab. Obviously all Street Fighters. We've got Final Fight, Strider, Pro Gear, a couple of shooters, Giga Wing, and we've got some absolute quality on the Mortal Kombat cab in addition to the Mortal Kombat games. We've got some real old school quality titles like Wizard of War, Tubing. My personal favourite is Root Beer Tapper. What an amazing game, fantastic. And obviously the Gallagher cab is like, it's a deluxe version basically of the Miss Pac-Man one you saw earlier. It's mostly got the same games on. There's a couple of different ones on each, but they're all Namco titles, and they're all absolute quality. And obviously on the Star Wars, and this is kind of a more deluxe cab like the Gallagher one. As you can see, you've got light up buttons on the Gallagher cab. Playing Mappy on that one at the moment, which again, absolutely love it. Light up coin door as well. And then on the Star Wars cab, obviously you've just got the original Star Wars game, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which I'd never played before until I got this cab. Don't think it's a bad game at all actually. So they are three cool games, but it's such a nice looking cab, and the yoke controller works just amazing, and it's a lovely marquee, as they all are on these actually. So there we go. That's a little tour around the updated arcade. Check out GTI Club, like I said, what a great game, if you can, that is. I've had a little change over here. We've put Treasure Island Dizzy on, just for David. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Be nice to your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. And we'll leave it there. I wonder what changes I'll make in the next 12 months. But that's the room tour done for 2025. Thanks for watching. Sayonara.